Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 podcast in all of the world.
Wow.
It is Group Chat.
Thank you.
Well, I don't really know what you're thanking me for.
Well,
but
happy Father's Day.
There you go. Okay. You did it in advance.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to do a little, we're going to have a chat about it.
Yeah.
A group chat. I want to know, happy Father's Day to both of you, but I want to know what makes it so special. You guys have become fathers as of recently, and you seem to really enjoy it, and I want to know why. I'm going to be frank.
Yeah.
I'm the only not father on the cast here, and I need you guys to enlighten me a little bit. And of course, we have a million other things to talk about. And then we're going to end this podcast with a hell of a story.
Hell of a story of Jason, a.k.a. the new guy. First night out as a 21-year-old in Hollywood.
First night at a club ever.
And it's the hottest nightclub reopening.
Yeah.
It's the hottest nightclub in the city reopening. It's Jason's first ever night in a club, and he was guided and inspired by the wise words of Zach Bia.
Wow.
So we're going to see what happens when you take in that advice, you use Dee's connections, and you have your first night at a club.
It also makes me think, if we were in a pandemic, would Pete still be with us? He just got burned out because there was nothing to take advantage of.
That's totally true. Well, Jason will reap all the rewards.
Yes.
Okay, and lastly, we're going to dip our toe back into the live event space. Being the #1 podcast in the world, we've, people, I think our audience has been very upset that they haven't been able to really see us face to face for the last year and some months. And now that things are opening back up, we're going to change that. We have our first event. The only problem is it's a little
secret.
Very
secret.
We're working with a limited space venue here, but we're not going to keep everyone completely out, of course. We're going to give away a few spots.
Yeah, I think we're going to do 4 spots
to
get into our secret show. It's going to be a very small show. We're, like Drama said, dip
our toe. Don't worry. We'll be doing our global tour soon.
A global tour at a restaurant chain near you.
We'll tell you about that as well. It's on Tuesday.
We have 4 spots. DM the group chat Instagram. I would say TikTok, but I don't think you can DM on TikTok.
I think you have to follow or something. Do Instagram.
Okay, on Instagram. And it's going to be in West Hollywood, 7 p.m. on Tuesday. We have 4 spots.
So if you're interested in coming,
DM and see, tell us why you want to come.
Yep.
And the 4 best reasons will get invited.
Okay. There you have it. We'll see some of you Tuesday and
see 4 of you.
Well, I guess we'll see 4 of you.
We'll do a big one in August. We've already talked to Brian.
Okay, big one in August. There we go. All right, let's get into it. Who's ready? For the fathers.
My forefathers.
Shout out to my forefathers. Call me daddy.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, I'm the only one on the pod that's not a dad.
Well, what about these 2? Tim and the new guy.
I mean, they're 18.
People are having kids early these days. Teen mom.
Anyone?
It's a hot show.
Not a father.
Okay. There's only 2 of us. And so for that, unfortunately, I can't be selfish today. Happy Father's Day to you 2.
Thank you.
This isn't about me. This is about you guys. Dee, you've got 2 now.
Yeah, I got 2.
Anna, you got 1.
Yeah.
Is there another one in the works? What are you thinking? Someday?
Yeah.
Okay. What's ideal number?
I think 2 for me. Amanda wants 3.
Really? You think you'll go 3rd?
I think we'll go 3.
Wow.
I don't.
Wow. That's the first I'm hearing of this.
It's group chat, man. We're honest with our listeners.
I originally wanted 3 kids.
Okay.
Before,
you saw what kids were like?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think Haley was comfortable with 2 in theory.
Yeah.
And now that we have 2, she'll be like, oh, we should have another kid.
Because Miles is a little easier, right?
Yes. That's what changed our
perspective. It's about easiness or toughness.
Mm-hmm.
It's logistics.
No, but
I mean, if 3 car seats, these kids have in car seats till they're 9 now.
Yeah.
It's not like the old days where kids after
You know what my
You throw him in the back seat and put a seat.
Do you want to know my
Yeah,
other
we live
idea?
in a woke world, It might be 18 soon.
Yeah.
Listen, literally.
Yeah.
There might be kids in car seats till 18.
Until they get your license and you can go from the car seat to the driver's seat.
Just a big leap.
Yeah.
So you basically need, there's no way with 3 kids.
Minivan.
Yeah, it's the only option.
You have an Audi SUV?
I have the Mercedes SUV. We have to get the bigger one.
Because you only have 2
Yeah.
front seats,
Exactly.
row in the back.
Correct.
The other idea I had was having our 3rd kid, which, I mean, it's not, this is Haley's body has to be ready for it, but in 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
Just run it back.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd want to be 50
for old time's sake,
with
just
a
a throwback
newborn.
baby.
why? I see old people walking around here with kids all the time.
That's
I
true.
was
And
down in Malibu this morning. I saw a guy that must have been 75 with a newborn.
At the private schools, are you the young guy?
Yeah, I would say I lean younger.
Which is crazy because in the
Yeah.
suburbs, you'd be a senior citizen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you could easily wait 5 and be totally fine.
Yeah, because then here's the thing, the stage that first year or 2
Yeah.
is it's just fun having a baby around.
Yeah.
Now Dominic just talks back to me.
Yep.
Doesn't
But you
want to
probably
listen.
like that, right? I mean, you can
Nah.
engage in some shit talking.
I don't need someone to be exactly like me.
Oh, got it. I thought that's one of your favorite hobbies.
The
It's
thing
like
is,
if your kid likes baseball and you're a baseball player.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you like talking shit?
the problem is I'm still trying to watch how I talk about him,
Yeah.
talk
You
around
gotta
him.
let it go. You gotta step it up.
Yeah, he'll just pick up words
Yeah.
that I'll say,
Yeah.
and he'll just be like, "You are not listening to me. Be quiet."
Yeah. That sounds like dad. You gotta kick it up a notch. You gotta start letting F-bombs fly and stuff.
He hears that enough. He knows that that's happening.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Let me just ask you the father question. Now that you're both fathers, what would you say? What do I really want to know? I want to have an honest question here. What would you say is the greatest joy? Because I'll be honest, this is why I'm asking, selfishly.
Yeah.
34 years old, no plan of having a kid anytime soon.
Wow.
To me, honestly, at 34, not married, but in a great relationship, it feels a little it feels like a massive
Life change.
yeah, but more than I think I could handle, to be honest with you. And I'm a pretty, responsible dude. But what am I not seeing? What is on the other side of it that makes you're now thinking about 3, you're thinking about a second?
It is just, and people tell you this before you have kids, and you cannot explain it till you have your own kid. This is your creation.
Yeah.
And you just have this bond with that person that you could never have with anyone else.
But you also created a new republic. Totally different.
I think there's 2 things. I think one, from just a lifestyle perspective, I think I could just speak for myself. You live very selfishly.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I live selfishly? It was just me in my 20s.
You don't even realize you were doing it?
No.
Until you see the other side.
No, meaning all you think about is what's good for you.
No. But his question was, you didn't realize you were selfish till you had a kid.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, now it's the idea of selflessness to actually I think the only time, even if you're in the best relationship in the world, selflessness only exists, I think. At least I think it's really tough to experience until you have a kid, where there's someone that's just so much more important than you, and you're willing to do anything. Because every parent literally would do anything for their kid.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much across the board. I'd say 90+% of parents.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some that,
Name somebody.
Anyone we both know?
No, but I'm saying 90+% of parents are willing to go to whatever length to make sure their kid's fine. And then the second thing is the early years are tough.
Yeah.
No matter what. And it's investment to basically enjoy your 50s and 60s when your kid's older, and then they're like a companion.
Yeah.
That I think is the way to the joy.
It's a long-term hold.
Yeah. You're buying Amazon in 2001, and then boom, AWS hits.
More Warren Buffett, less
Yes.
Reddit.
Yeah.
AWS hits.
The time
They've already
in market.
invested in logistics.
Time in market.
And then cash flow just starts coming.
Got it. Would you say that what I see as a burden, I couldn't find a better word.
Yeah.
I see all of this responsibility. I'm like, geez, but would you say that like when you actually see your child, like the word burden no longer makes sense?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. We went swimming this morning.
Yeah.
And Dominic will be 4 at the end of August. And, he knows basically how to swim.
Okay.
He can get around. Today, he went down a water slide, swam across the pool, hopped on a boogie board. And I was like, fuck, that's dope.
Yeah.
Like all of that, like.
And then he's like, fuck you, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's like, go get me my acai bowl.
Yeah, you saw that shit? Go get me my bowl.
But, just there is like these little moments where like your kid's first step.
Yeah.
Any little thing they do, the first, like Miles started crawling like a month ago. And we were like,
yeah,
holy shit, he's crawling.
Yeah, I can't understand what that would feel like.
Yeah, and I think the thing about it is until you become a parent, and there's no right way to parent. Everyone kind of chooses their own way. So our conscious decision was we're making like significant lifestyle changes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from the time we eat dinner. We eat dinner at 5:00 every single day.
Mm-hmm.
How we wake up, what we do at night. We tried traveling with Dominic. It was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, all of these things. We talked about Disneyland jokingly, but like that's not in our cards because it's being realistic of who our son is or our sons are, and can they handle that? Will that experience be fun as a family?
Yeah.
So we've made like conscious decisions to go a certain way. Other people have figured out a way to like fit their child into their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Which is awesome for them.
Yeah.
And it works. And for some people, it works out great. It wasn't that was not our reality.
Your lifestyle wasn't very like kid adjacent though, You were like Miami.
Yeah. But there are people we know that do that. The Miami, they're in New York, they're in Paris, they're with all their kids and they take them everywhere. I could see us doing that 10 years from now.
Yeah.
When they're like truly self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And we could leave them, for dinner for an hour or two and actually do stuff.
Yeah.
But the real thing is like with parenthood and fatherhood, it's really like, it is truly about being unselfish and just because your child has no idea what you're going through.
Yeah.
Like I'll walk in after a long day and he's like, all right, let's play.
Yeah.
Can we play? Are we going to play? Can we play?
Yeah.
Like that is all he cares. I'm there to play with him.
Yeah.
And so that's a very different, they have a different mindset. And I think outside looking in, I get it. It looks like a burden.
It does, yeah.
No, but I also think, it does. And I think this is also like super important. Just because society has made it seem like the model is you have to have a kid at a certain age.
Yeah.
Not everyone should have a kid.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
and
that.
like,
True
I don't think everyone should force themselves to have kids.
Yeah.
If this isn't something that's like super interesting to you, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think people should be pressured just because you're married to have a kid.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely want to have kids. I just doesn't feel like, I feel like I might be a little late to the party. I might be 38, 40.
Yeah, which,
Might be the old guy at the private school, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, even just...
Or the young guy at that point.
I mean,
sounds like it.
I mean, I'll tell you, I don't know what
neighborhood.
the age is at everyone at the school, but I definitely do not feel old at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the parents' ages are. There's a lot of gray hair.
Yeah.
Maybe a little limp here and there.
Wow.
Limps.
Maybe it could be an injury or just
Get him
age.
to the
I
run
don't know what it
club.
is.
Wow.
Get him to the run
Wow.
club. Stretch him out.
So I think like, specifically men are substantially older when you go to school.
Yeah.
Like, especially in LA, I'm sure New York City's like this. San Francisco's like this. I'm sure Miami's got like 80-year-olds pulling up to the...
I'm sure Miami, you go to kindergarten,
sure.
it's average age 55.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
There's full on canes and walkers at that.
Exactly.
Elementary. Okay. All right. Well, it makes sense. And like I said, from my perspective, obviously I see something that, like I see how much you guys enjoyed. I see that you guys might say, oh, I'm a little tired or oh, I was up all night or whatever, but you don't complain about your kids. You know what I mean? Like there's like a pure joy in it.
Yeah.
That's also the selflessness. You don't complain.
Yeah. Okay. Well, happy Father's Day to you too.
Thanks.
You've done a great job.
Happy Father's Day to your dad too.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
I called him this morning. He's down in South Carolina,
Wow.
Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the dream.
It must be bananas down there.
It must be. He said that all that I really got was people aren't really tripping on masks or anything like that. But that's I think that they're probably like away from where the early summer partying would be.
Because I was in Santa Monica yesterday and Malibu this morning. It is so freaking crowded at the beach. For a run club, I've never seen the boardwalk this crowded to even go running at the time we go running, which is 9:00 in the morning. And it was literally like dodging people.
Yeah. I think they're at the Outer Banks, which is like in the area. I forget. But I think
is that a Netflix show? I saw a show called Outer Banks.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's a little bit more mellow. But yeah, that's the dream vacation for my parents. They love it. We used to go every year. So happy Father's Day, Dad. I know you're listening.
Great.
And to all of our fathers listeners and to all of our listeners with fathers, literally everyone, happy Father's Day.
Yes.
Thanks for coming to group chat. Let's talk about some of our followers, actually.
Yes.
Particularly, I would say the new ones.
Yeah.
Now, one thing about a podcast that's really cool is it's really hard to grow an audience. Takes a long time. But once you do, you kind of find that audience is pretty loyal. They really feel like they know you. They're allocating a significant amount of time to really listen to you. You're pretty on the same page. However, when you try to dabble in the world of TikTok, it's the polar opposite. TikTok is the most brilliant platform when it comes to serving your content to people who might like it or actually might hate it, but either way is going to watch it. And as we've been dabbling with these clips on TikTok, we found an audience that liked us, but man, we found a couple clips where people do not agree with our takes.
So we posted...
First was guns.
The guns
First
one...
we posted kind of an anti-gun, killing machine AR-15. Why do people need them?
Yeah.
We found perfectly the NRA Trump crowd.
Yeah.
And then totally different crowd. What did we post?
We posted a clip about the Great Resignation, how 40% of people are thinking about quitting their job.
Yeah.
And the comments are insane.
So that's a totally different audience.
Yeah. So this audience is called the lazy people. You want to clip that?
The lazy 18-year-olds.
You motherfuckers.
Clip that, like and subscribe, you little bitches.
And, it's a clip where you made a comment of like,
it's me?
What did you call it? And you said the bitch assness.
Yeah.
And so what happened in those comments is it's a number of comments. I think the big takeaway was we're sick of working for big corporations that make all the big profits.
Okay, but there's such a difference between there's a lot in between big corporation.
Yes, and everyone's jobs.
Yeah, and still need to go to an office.
Yeah, and so what's interesting is big corporations that make big profits, I would love to know which ones don't pay well. Because the big corporations I know all pay well.
Yeah, I think there's also just a sentiment. I bet you the people complaining on there have never had a job at a big corporation.
Yeah, okay.
They're just I don't want that. No, take them down.
And then there's there was a lot of talk about, inflation, cost of living going up, and then how that wages have not matched that. So I started looking up wages in different industries. If you look overall, yes, that statement is correct. The real problem is there's been severe wage inflation in a few industries, technology being the top one. And the reality is a lot of these people, I don't know if they're young or old, they are sitting in maybe a profession or a industry that hasn't experienced the same amount of growth that technology has experienced. Well, nothing experienced it like technology. And my guess is they're not in finance because finance people, even though bonuses aren't what they used to be, it's still, you make a lot of money.
You still make tons.
But finance, finance people collecting bonuses aren't on TikTok making comments.
Yeah. So then I start trying to narrow down who are these people that are.
Did you look at any profiles?
A lot of them are just no posts, no pictures, no nothing.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Russia. Russians. Causing chaos. Causing chaos.
Just causing disruption in America via group chat.
Yes. And I understand people's frustration about their economic circumstance, but this goes back to the conversation we had is we have listeners who have just given up their careers, went and learned software engineering,
and
now have 6-figure jobs. So What was Rob's thing always? Change your destiny. What was this? Create your own luck.
Yep.
Create your own luck.
That was it.
And like John Wooden always, that was the famous quote, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yep.
And I look at all these people complaining. I don't know their jobs. I don't know their industries. I don't know their skill level. But we do know that if you are willing to take that leap and learn the skill set of the fast growing industries, there are endless amount of jobs.
Yeah.
Like there is such a big shortage of software engineers and software developers in America.
Yeah.
And so if we don't get these people that are frustrated to get re-educated, those jobs are going to be gone.
Yeah.
Because those people, if you start saying, I don't want to come into work. So this goes back to coming into work altogether. If all these people, young people say, we're not coming back to work, then if I'm a CEO, I can be like, okay, then I'll get someone in India.
Yeah.
If it's all the same, I could pay a project I'm working on. The CEO found developers for $12 to $15 an hour in India.
Yeah.
And what they're building is amazing. And it's $12 to $15 an hour. Yeah. So I understand people's frustration, but if you keep complaining, those jobs are just going to be gone.
So I think that access to information has done two things. It's empowered people on the one hand to actually go acquire these skills because they realized you can actually acquire them with the open source of information and earn a better living. Yeah. I think what it's also done is made people who don't want to actually work and acquire just get bitter.
Yeah.
Because they're like, all these people are making money. They see it on Instagram and social media. Because I remember...
That's the big point we didn't make the other day, is like the fact that so many people are now so used to seeing how easy money seems to come to people that the concept of how hard it is or easy it is to make a lot of money is a little skewed. And then like Anand said, if you feel like you've been left out of that, even though it's a very small group that I'm confused on how they make money also, you feel like everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you're like, oh, well, I got screwed. When actually that's like not the norm.
Well, the norm
because
is...
I remember firsthand when I was graduating college, the people who went in investment banking, we made six figures right out of college. And it was a shit ton of money to be 21 making that kind of money. But the people who were making like a fraction of that weren't bitter. They were like, these guys like studied and got good grades and like killed themselves in college and were able to earn. And I don't remember that bitterness.
Well, you didn't see it. If you guys all started Instagram accounts and said, look at how we're spending our six figures, the ones who didn't would be like, guys.
You're at Mr. Chow's, you're at this, you're hooking up your homies. It's and that's what it comes down to. What people don't understand is you can take the less complicated road, the short road, and maybe not make enough money, but the argument could be you have a better quality of life. Maybe
that's exactly what it was, because the people that were making a lot less than us in finance were like, these guys are working on Saturdays and Sundays, like I'm good.
Yeah. And that's fine. And like I remember I have a friend who's a teacher, grew up with him, one of my close friends. And I talked to him 5 years ago. And I remember he was just telling me his life. Like as he's been at that point, he'd probably been a teacher 15 years already. He's like, I get home at 4, I take the kids to practice on the weekend. Summer off. They go to Hawaii, they do their trips. I was like, you have a fucking great life. Yeah. And I think he was eligible for retirement in like 5 years. Yeah. And it's like, I started thinking about it where at the end of the day, what is your goal? Because if it's money, you have to fucking kill yourself. Yeah. You do not make money easily. Yeah. You want to be a millionaire? You're working 7 days a fucking week. That's just it. There's nothing in between. There's no work-life balance if you want to be rich. Yeah. Straight up. There just isn't. Yeah. And I think that's the problem that people struggle with, because on social media, you see private jets, you see nice watches and people eating at Carbone, Miami.
And all you got to do is box somebody once a year.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, all right, that's the goal.
And then the flip side is like, you may be at your job, but you get to leave at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You don't got to travel. The big complaint, and this flows into another set of comments. Menlo Club is running ads right now. We're doing a back to office promo special.
No audience for that.
$49. You get 2 button-down shirts, a pair of jeans, and a pair of chinos. Incredible deal. Yeah. The comments, and by the way, the promo
this is totally different group. This is on Instagram.
Instagram ads. And the promo is actually doing phenomenal because people are going back to work.
Yeah.
The comments are, Why am I buying an outfit to sit and commute for 10 hours? I ain't never going back in the office. This is the dumbest ad I've ever seen. I'm never going back in the office. I'm just warning people, if that is your tactic with your employer, your job will get replaced by an IIT grad in India. And you should look it up if you don't know what that is. There's like 10 Harvards in India of engineering kids they'll steal the banking jobs. They'll steal the tech jobs. They'll steal. If you look at Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal and you look at where those articles are written in fucking India, they're not even written by American journalists. There's like located Bangalore, India. So
it's like 10 things you need to know about Manhattan.
Yes, exactly. The 5 best bagels in Manhattan, written by Raja Gopal Govindan, like in Bangalore, India. He's never been here, and he's writing that. And I think it's just mind-blowing to me. I get people enjoy the work from home atmosphere. But what if your industry doesn't allow it? What are you going to do?
It's just interesting to me. Look, at the end of the day, like I feel like we talked about it for a while, the other episode. We could talk about it again forever. It's just like, what's going to happen? Like this has never happened before in the history of the world, this specific issue. What happens? Like it's long term, are there just people that wake up that are just like, get very left behind and you were just wrong and whatever? Or are we maybe partly wrong? And
here's the thing.
But this is the thing that younger people who are dying on this work from home like base, that they're just going to like kill themselves to make sure they work from home.
The MAGA for work from home crowd.
The MAGA work from home crowd. There's an old saying in politics. It's called the rule of propinquity.
Okay.
It's basically the staffer that's closest to the guy with the power. Gets ahead.
Called the brown nose principle.
If you're around your manager, your senior boss all the time, and the people that are working from home are just sending in their TPS reports, who's going to advance?
Is there a world where the workforce we're underestimating how many people feel this way, and businesses actually lose the power and you can no longer even expect everyone to come back into the office?
I'll tell you why the businesses won't lose the power. Because now the talent pool is global.
That's true.
Here's a perfect example. Garrett and Jason were in here Friday. Dee took them to lunch.
Yeah.
Because they're here.
Propinquity.
Propinquity.
That's what you call propinquity.
Young propinquity.
And they got to
over
just
here.
pick his brain and like
literally, by the way, asking 21 fucking questions.
Of course. Propinquity. You got to make it worth it. He doesn't want to hang out with your old ass.
What do you think about this? What's your favorite person you ever met?
He's using our own advice on us.
But I think, here's what I actually think is going to happen. I think the sentiment is this right now. September is truly when everyone will really go back to work because schools will go back. So even people who have young children, their time will free up again. And I think if you're not, so there's an old story of the Dallas Cowboys coach, Jimmy Johnson, used to say like, Michael Irvin, who was the star wide receiver, would sleep through meetings.
Okay.
And he was kind of a hothead.
Whatever. Like did whatever he wanted. Party animal, whatever. Then one day, a player on the team is sleeping. He cuts him.
The coach
cuts that guy. And the guy goes like, what about Michael Irvin? He's like, Michael Irvin caught 3 touchdowns.
What'd you do?
I don't need you. And I think that's what's going to happen with employers. So if you're in the work from home, ride or die, if you're not performing at the highest level,
be Michael Irvin.
That's the thing.
I mean, it was like The Last Dance. You watched it. They let Rodman go to Vegas. They're like, we need him. And this is the only way that we can get him.
Didn't even more modern, aren't they like currently? Didn't they currently let James Harden do that like last season or something?
No, he just did it to get his way out of Houston.
I thought there was like a more recent where they're like, well, he does what he does kind of thing.
And I think
whatever. That's been the story for all of his.
So if you're a generational talent at your company, you can get away with whatever you want.
But the risk is if you aren't a generational talent, you need to show up and just work your ass off. Because you can work, you can win that way too.
I agree.
You don't have to be the greatest talent.
There's plenty of people we know that just worked their ass off and became very successful. Here's the thing. There's this sentiment that you are entitled to happiness. I don't fucking think you're entitled to shit.
I wouldn't even say happiness. I think people are entitled to just a way of life that they think
that's convenient for them.
correct.
But that makes them happy. I mean, look,
Sure.
you guys are saying the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
And I think the challenge is that we know in the real world, it's you have to create your own destiny. Otherwise, it doesn't work. No one's looking out for you in the workforce. They just aren't.
Yeah.
No one's coming to work and say, you know what, Jason, I got to make sure Jason does well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so crazy to me that forever in history, it has been jobs, create jobs. We'll create jobs. And now it's literally like, how do we get people to take these jobs? Like, it's so strange to me that I can't tell where it ends up. And my instinct says it ends up in a lot of people that miss the boat. And now there's a lot of jobs that are, like you said, like outsourced to other countries or whatever. And there's a huge portion of the workforce that isn't working. But I don't know. Maybe some companies have to cave and do work from home, even though they wouldn't want to. Or
I think that will be a part of it.
We have a great example of like, even if you're not that talented, but someone senior really likes you because you show up, you can last. So like our dad, when he was in Hawaii, he was the most senior person in the Hawaii mass transit. And there was one guy they wanted to fire. But guess what? My dad liked going to lunch and dinner with him.
Yeah.
So he kept his
My
job.
dad always kept all these people around, even when he was in LA and was running the transit program here. I'd be like, he'll come home and he'll complain about them.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, everyone wants to fire them. I'm like, so what are you going to do? He's like, I like him.
I mean, I wonder if you honestly made a list of how many like well-known or very successful people in history are because of propinquity.
Yeah.
It probably would blow your mind.
Yeah, and I think
Be likable. That's even more important than being talented.
Yeah.
And you can't be likable when you're working from home.
And the only way to be not likable is if you're insanely talented.
Yeah.
You have to be like top
Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be 1%. So like most people aren't going to be top 1% of their industry.
The other thing I wanted to address, because I saw this as a comment from a lot of people, was commuting. Everyone's like, I'm not going to commute 1 hour to wear a new outfit, or I'm not going to commute whatever, right?
Okay.
Here's the thing. You don't have to commute. You can live in a shithole fucking place and live near your job.
Yeah.
But you want a backyard, you want space, you want a parking spot, you want all these other things, then unfortunately that's the sacrifice you have to make.
But here's my next. Okay, keep going.
For example, as a family person, I have a nice house, I have a nice backyard. It's great. I can have a much nicer house if I went to the valley.
Yeah.
But I got to drive an hour a day, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm willing. Like that's a decision my family made that like I won't get to see my kids.
Yeah.
And I might be, if you're listening, you may, he's complaining about this size house versus another size house. Yeah. But I always made that.
Well, it's all
so
relative.
that's what everyone's complaining about.
It's all relative.
Everyone's saying I'd rather live in a 2-bedroom apartment than a studio, or I'd rather live. It's all relative, but it's
exactly. And I think people, complaining about the commute. Why don't you do it for a decade? Yeah. No commute. Yeah. Stack your chips. Go get your dream house, and then you can decide what you want to do with your career. Yeah. But you can't start off.
The commute argument is so bad because me firsthand, I lived 14 years in the same apartment just to keep my life simple.
Yeah.
To convenience.
Yeah.
Because obviously commuting is stupid.
Yeah.
So live in a lesser place that you can afford to make your life easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure did.
Yeah, I mean, you're the poster child for
you literally are. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
And I was
because you had money.
When we moved this office to right next to your apartment, were you just so pumped?
Oh yeah, when we were, I think I might have guided some.
We're supposed to be a little more east.
Yeah,
move to a shithole apartment near your work, or move where you work to your shithole.
Yeah, that's literally what he did. He literally moved from like the middle of downtown to like a block from his house. Like, oh guys, I really like this place.
I was like, oh my god,
price per square foot, love it.
The views.
Yeah, the other thing I'm wondering, because I've kind of witnessed this recently, is let's say you pay somebody $100,000 a year. And over the last year, they got to see the best of both worlds, which is I got to work from home. Maybe I moved into a little bit bigger place, whatever. And I got to still make my same salary. To you, you didn't even think about it, or a business owner didn't even think about it because everyone had to work from home. But now you're calling people back into the office and you want that expensive employee to be able to be back in the office when you want them, whether it's 5 days a week or one or whatever. And they're thinking, well, I could take the same salary in Nashville, live in an awesome house, still work remote like I have, But I think the part that's coming is, well, then that salary is less.
Yeah.
Because part of what I'm paying for is for you to be so close.
So that's exactly what I was thinking. The HR rules in this state would never allow it. But if you gave the employers freedom to ask, will you ever come into the office?
Yeah.
Are you going to work from home?
No, Facebook's doing this.
So you get to...
Facebook and Google have said for the work from home population, you salary adjusted to the city you're living in.
Yeah, that's part of what you pay for is because we live in LA.
Yeah, because Facebook's got the big ass office in India.
But here's the point, right? This is how it makes sense to me is I choose to have a business that is in LA, even though that's not the most financially best place to run a business. The reason I do that is because of all the opportunity here, because I like living here, because I believe that having a business in LA is beneficial in other ways. But part of what you pay for that is you have to pay salaries for LA living.
Yeah.
So if I switched and moved the business to Florida, then
why am I paying LA salaries?
Yeah, that's what I don't get is like if the employees are going to move to Austin, well then that's a different
salary.
Yeah, I'm paying that because you're here, because you're close.
And I think what American employees don't understand is this is specifically an India opportunity. India is the largest English-speaking country in the world. Not America, India is.
That's so crazy.
And they're hardworking, they're smart, and the engineering pool, the intellectual pool is so fucking big because education is like literally like the national anthem.
Yeah.
That should be scary for American employees.
Yeah.
That really should be the scariest thing because all of these, the best in class employees in the world, Amazon, Google, Facebook, all these are the best companies in the world. They have massive offices in India.
Yeah.
Like our cousin was working for Amazon in India and decided to come to work for Amazon in America.
Yep.
And that's just because she wanted to live here. But they were paying her extremely well to live in India too.
Yeah.
And I bet you it's cheaper than what if they would have hired someone from Stanford.
Yeah. Yeah. The last part that scares the shit out of me and even going down this road is maybe too doomsday-y, but like, this is also a competition. Like this isn't like, oh, everyone do your best. And like Russia, China, these other people operate differently and are dying
to eat our lunch.
Eat us alive.
Yeah. Chamath in one of the All-In Pods recently referenced an article that Michael Moritz, who's one of the founders of Sequoia Capital, venture firm in Silicon Valley, one of the greatest of all time, wrote this article, I think 4 or 5 years ago, in the Financial Times or something, basically saying like China is eating our lunch in technology. He was just referencing what he sees in Silicon Valley with the firms in Silicon Valley versus what's going on in Chinese technology. Yeah. And he's like, what we're worried about in Silicon Valley is dog pet insurance, free meals, petitions, like unlimited vacation, sabbaticals.
Yeah.
And that's what Facebook, Google, and everyone's worried about to keep their employees happy. Whereas China is 996, which is 9 to 9, 6 days a week. And there's a reason why every Chinese technology company has lapped American technology companies.
Yeah.
And that's undeniable. That's not even like up for debate. Yeah. If you look at what ByteDance, WeChat, Alibaba, what they're doing, they've lapped us.
Yeah.
I mean, they launched an app. They bought a shitty app, which was Musical.ly, relaunched it as TikTok, and is kicking everyone's ass.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let me give you some numbers.
You have numbers?
Yeah, I have numbers of ByteDance. This is bananas.
Oh, no.
Their revenue surged in 2020, 111%.
Sounds a lot.
1.9 billion users.
That's ByteDance's revenue, not TikTok's.
ByteDance. But
ByteDance, yeah.
I'm sure TikTok is a big chunk of that.
I know, but I'm sure TikTok's revenue increase was essentially like 1,000%. Right?
So to give you scale, ByteDance revenue last year, 34 billion. It's not a fucking tiny business.
And you know what's crazy is Michael Moritz, the Sequoia guy, got so much shit for his op-ed.
Like, because he was kind of bashing like
it was
people's problems, or
no, it was basically like, it's a typical.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's okay. So there's some hard numbers. That worries me.
Yeah.
It worries me that there's a day, like at the end of the day, we're not fighting against ourselves.
Yeah.
We're talking about a long-term game here where there are people like dying to take us out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And already the fact that literally, I'm not kidding, like from everything that I've seen as far as growth, users, celebrity power, selling power, all that stuff, TikTok is so much better than any of these US and Instagram, any of that stuff. It is, I mean, who's the last celebrity you heard of from Instagram? None. The biggest celebrities in our culture right now are all TikTok stars.
Which we talk about every single week.
Which we talk about every week. And 1 year ago were completely, they were coming in here, making videos in the office, completely unheard of, their first trip to LA.
I mean, Facebook revenue last year was 86 billion. These guys did 34 billion. What are they? They're 2 years behind Facebook.
And that's all Facebook.
All of it.
That's all of Facebook, Instagram, everything Facebook. You're talking about essentially, I mean, ByteDance I'm sure has other important shit, but like.
Yeah. I don't know what else properties in China they have that are valuable, but.
I would love to see the stats. I guarantee you there's stats on like stickiness and time spent and videos watched that absolutely destroy. You can see it.
Yeah.
You can see, like, even as a business selling product on these sites, Instagram is
toast
in that regard. Like, people are just sort of dead to it. Like, they're just sort of like, yeah, product, yeah, influencer, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we're all still on it. So the monthly active users are still there.
Yep.
I still launch it 30 times a day.
I'll give them that. It is a part of
life.
Seeing what people are doing.
But
on
it's
Instagram.
like, once you go on TikTok, it's a shitty part of life. It's like you're getting the diet part of entertainment. The only thing...
And I'll give them this. It's different.
Yeah, it is different.
They are different products. Like, I feel like Instagram now, I believe, you check in with your favorite celebrities and your friends. You see what everyone's up to today. Quick highlights of basketball. Got it. Like, here's my clips for the day of what all my friends are doing, whose birthday it is. Got it. TikTok is fucking entertaining. But you're watching some shit that...
You know why? It's so simple. So simple to solve this problem for Facebook and Instagram, which they fucked up last year. What matters in life? Likes, comments, subscribe.
Yeah.
Those are the three most important things in life. Yeah. It used to be like God, football, whatever.
Yeah.
Service to your country. No, it's likes, comments, subscribe.
Got it.
When you look at ByteDance, what they've done with TikTok is anybody could go viral. Anybody. Yes. So that shot of becoming viral makes you keep wanting to create content, keep engaging with content. In Instagram, you've given up. You know you can't go viral. Yeah. You know you can't create a following. You just know you can't. Yep. And so you've completely dissuaded a generation of young people from creating incredible content because you're never going to reward it.
No.
So if you don't reward us, and the reward is Facebook took the other route. We're going to get rid of likes. No, that's dopamine.
Yeah.
You gave us a little bit of the drug.
Shoot us up.
We want to get more.
Yeah.
So I want to post something on Instagram, and one day I want to get 50,000 likes.
So
just one. What? You give me 50,000 likes once.
Yep.
You got me for the next year.
So
easy.
TikTok.
Easy.
When would you say TikTok really just hit that hockey stick? 18 months ago? 2 years ago?
No, I'd say 16 months ago.
I'd say peak pandemic.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, like when we were still in the office, those people started you started seeing the celebrity form. But then over the pandemic, it really...
Okay, so here's some staggering numbers. ByteDance, as of November 2018, had 800 million daily active users under all their Chinese like apps, Taotiao, and
that's only in China.
TikTok. That's only in China. Okay. And then TikTok came 2 years later. So what's that number? 2 billion? I have no idea.
It's 1.9.
What's that? 1.9?
I just said it.
Oh, 1.9 billion daily active users?
Yeah.
So there you go. I'm just saying, I don't think ever in American history, ever in the world history, has there ever been a time where anyone had a chance of becoming a celebrity like the last 12 months on TikTok?
Yeah, I agree. Dogface
was like on Ellen or something.
Dogface couldn't have happened on Instagram. They wouldn't have allowed it.
No, zero chance. It's really interesting.
And the only way Facebook's increasing revenue is just raising the ads per click.
Yeah, that's it.
And Instagram's doing like, we're doing ads now for Reels.
Yeah, Instagram
How about make
announced.
Reels not suck?
I don't even go on Reels. Do you go on Reels?
No one does. They just
No,
watch it on
you
people's
get served
feed.
Reels. Like, here's the
But
problem.
people only watch it on people's feed the same way remember when there was like IGTV.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the only way that I ever use Reels is instead of watch more on IGTV, you watch more on Reels when the video is longer than a minute.
Yeah, and I think the problem, the fundamental flaw in Instagram right now is the following. You only get served who you follow.
And
Even
also-
don't even get served to them.
You don't even
But
get served
it's
them.
also lost its core because even when stories launched, it was actually cool to see what your friends are doing.
Yeah.
Now your friends aren't even posting what they're doing.
No, and the point is, to Dee's point, you don't even see all your friends' stuff.
Right.
Like I have friends that I followed a long time ago for the simple sake of I would like to keep up with this person and what they're up to. But just because I didn't like enough of their pictures or something, I'd no longer see them.
That happened to me today. I said, "Oh, this girl got engaged." I didn't even know.
Like I forgot about her 2 years ago. Because all of a sudden they serve you her content. It's when you're so focused only on revenue and not on the actual experience. TikTok had no choice but to be crazy focused on the experience
Product,
and
yeah.
getting people to use the product. But
I
they
also
made it so good.
I also firmly believe Zuck's more talented than every Chinese executive at these companies.
I just think he's so
they've all gotten
greedy,
sidelined,
man.
by the way. So the founders have all been sidelined.
Yeah.
So it's not even apples to apples. These
Yeah.
are like.
But why isn't he
appointees.
just letting the algorithm rip?
What is Zuck thinking?
He's too
He's a
greedy.
genius.
I think he put all of his genius to work on how to drive revenue. And it worked. But I think it created a shitty product. And I think TikTok had to put all of their genius into how do we gain any market share in the world of social media in the US? Because it's so hard. And so they had to go above and beyond to make it an incredible experience. And they did. And now I think they'll be able to turn on revenue. And that's really dangerous. But Facebook, I just feel like they like ride this like train of sucking all the revenue out of something and making it not enjoyable as a product.
And I think the other thing, the other platforms did, Snapchat, now you see with YouTube Shorts and TikTok did, is they just doled out money to creators.
Mm-hmm.
Like YouTube Shorts announced $100 million. Snapchat was giving out $1 million a day.
Yeah.
Not anymore, but $1 million a day before.
Even YouTube, AdSense.
Yeah, all these people, they're incentivizing people to post on their platform. There's no incentive to post on Instagram anymore.
No, you just do it because you have to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're out of the conversation.
Yeah.
Even if it's just with your friends, or
Even
with
if
the
it's-
bigger picture.
Like I have 23,000 followers. If I do a post, maybe 3,000 people will see it. 4,000 people. And to see it.
I have 1.2 million, and I've had posts that 3,000 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it doesn't.
Why we built the following.
Yeah.
Show us our
It should go to 1.2 million followers.
Yeah, I watched it happen to mine. I'll tell you what happened to mine is mine grew so rapidly when I was on TV and Instagram was really popular and I was constantly posting and I rode this crazy following up. But as soon as TV stopped and that growth stopped so much, it just started like the chain reaction went downwards and it started throttling my content super hard because one post wouldn't, if you're not posting like, check out the new episode of Fantasy Factory tonight, it's not going to hit as hard. And it just fell off a cliff over like a few years.
Right.
So you can get into this place where you built all of this following and then it doesn't even serve it to anyone. And then it becomes not fun. And that's why I don't really post on Instagram anymore because who really cares, right?
Yeah.
But I just think Zuck's used all of his genius to drive revenue and it's worked. I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
But it leaves a spot open like this. That I think even as much as we accept TikTok is a monster, I think it's way more of a monster than we.
And it's
I
also
agree.
it's also in the era of regulation where there's valid arguments to regulate big tech.
Mm-hmm.
But if you regulate big tech, you're basically conceding to China.
Well, that's the other problem, right? Is we're not just battling ourselves again, right? So that's tricky.
That's how tricky is that. Like, sure, big tech is anti-competitive to small businesses.
Yeah.
But if big tech isn't powerful, then the Chinese tech companies just win.
Yeah,
Well, you
that's
could-
a tough
you-
one.
No.
That's a real tough
No,
one.
what you could do is regulate big tech, ban ByteDance in America.
Yeah, you could do that.
That's the obvious answer.
That's a very low-hanging fruit opportunity.
Yeah, that is the answer. But we're not going to do that. So then what? So then
Well,
instead,
Spotify launches Green Room.
I mean, R.I.P. I mean, we had a good run, Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Because also, they fucking, this should be illegal. I have to say, It should be illegal to make a product that's just a slightly better version of the exact replica. This is stories. This is Instagram stories to Snapchat. It's just a better version. It's the same layout.
Well, the thing about tech that's so funny now is that these people, if you follow them on social media, all these tech product people, all they talk about how innovative they are and how geniuses they are.
Yeah.
TikTok is basically Vine.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
YouTube Shorts is TikTok. Reels is TikTok.
I got to shout out my man, Evan Spiegel. He actually innovated.
He did.
Story was actually unique.
Snapchat was completely unique.
And
So
he
was
survived.
Vine was unique too.
He
It's just
innovated and
Jack
he survived.
was too busy growing his fucking beard.
Yeah.
Man, he could have made Vine TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, easily. He had a gold mine with. I'm sure the
A gold
engagement
Vine.
numbers at peak Vine
Yeah.
were insane.
Yeah. But the screenshot I saw of Spotify's thing is the same structure, the same design.
Yeah. So I
just
just
looks
was on
nicer.
it before we started, and the rooms are fucking packed.
Is it like good people?
Hundreds of people. I don't know the people because I haven't.
They need to get their people. Look, you just paid Joe Rogan $100 million. You paid
Call her
Alex
daddy.
Cooper. Get them in there now.
You get Joe Rogan on there, it's over, and I guarantee you, Spotify.
Bill Simmons is living in Green Room.
and I
Is he?
guarantee.
Yeah, because he got his bag from
Yeah,
Spotify.
if you part of that bag should be you got to use our shit.
I mean, think about it, and I'm sure there's no engineering problem where you can have 50,000. Imagine if Bill Simmons was commentating the NBA Finals. It'd have 100,000 people on it.
Complete rumor, but I heard that Alex Cooper's deal, the reason why the wording and blah blah blah, is that it's a $20 million a year deal for like a 3-year deal. It's something like that. It's something insane. It's not like here's $60 million. We own the show now.
And I heard,
think.
I also heard a rumor that Barstool didn't really.
yeah,
Get a bag.
Portnoy didn't get a
No,
bag.
That might have been a
I saw
ball
clips.
drop.
Yeah.
Bag drop.
Yeah, backdrop.
I think their deal ran out maybe, and they couldn't. It was them versus.
and there's no way Barstool can afford 20 million.
I saw Portnoy on his pod from a TikTok clip that said
See?
he was like, I get it. She had to take this deal. It was a great deal. But Barstool just owns the merch now. I don't think they own any of the 60 million.
I mean, that to me feels like one of.
merch.
That's what he said that.
Merch.
He said that on the clip I saw.
That feels to me like one of the biggest.
Maybe he's not that good.
I mean, she's the #1 female podcaster. There's no question, right?
Yeah.
No, there's no. I don't think there's any question. And Barstool
Built it.
built it.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe she really built it.
But it doesn't matter.
You were the partner, yeah.
They could have kept it.
I think Dave was trying to be cute with all these deals that they were making when all that chaos. You own the show. Because he was probably thinking in his mind, where's she going?
No, but hold on. If it's 60 million in that kind of zip code, Penn Gaming ultimately makes the call, not Dave Portnoy.
Well, Penn
Gaming's like, let's focus on gaming and casinos.
But I bet
gambling's getting legalized everywhere, and they just said that's not part of our focus.
Yeah.
And I bet you
Even if
Barstool made the deal without Penn Gaming really. Like Penn Gaming, I feel like would be like, yeah, you guys do your thing. You're good at what you do. And then that went down. They're like, hey, what was our deal? And they're like, well, here's the thing.
Right.
Nothing.
Checking and
And
savings.
they're like, fuck. Let's get this guy back from Miami. All right. Well, we'll see. But, I think we should go ahead and start announcing whenever our next green room session is.
Yeah.
We know how to ride a wave. So let's grab the boards, if you know what I mean. What's this keep trucking thing? Keep trucking is like a truck, semi-truck. What's happening? I see AI. I see 190 million. I see a lot of words that we might be interested in.
Great buzzwords.
Yeah, I see those things. That's what group chat talks about.
Keep Trucking is a business started by a close friend, Shoaib Makhani, and he just raised 190 million at $2 billion valuation. It's basically creating software for the trucking industry. So how they officially started back in 2013 was that the way trucking logs were logged was all paper. And he was like, that seems like a pretty inefficient way.
How did you even figure that out? Because I've met him. He doesn't seem like a guy that's ever been on a truck.
He probably has been forced to. I'll tell you exactly how he started the business. So
I like sat next to a guy who drives trucks like at the airport.
No, he was at a venture firm, Coastal Ventures, big venture firm in Silicon Valley, and was trying to decide what he wanted to do next, and literally spent a year analyzing different industries and where he thought the most inefficiencies were, and he landed on the trucking space.
So I want to pause for a second. We're talking about people commenting on the Menlo Club ad and the TikTok comments about all these, I don't want to commute, I don't want to work from home. This guy spent 1 year analyzing businesses. 1 year of his life analyzing business. These people work from home for 1 year and never want to go back.
Oh, yeah.
And then he
And
went
by the
through
way,
hell.
Shoaib's about to be a billionaire.
And he went through hell post that 1 year starting the business. Because it wasn't like this smooth, all of a sudden you were at $2 billion.
Yeah.
Just like any business, you have your ups and downs. And there were times where, it was tough. And then there was a law that changed in DC that made the entire trucking industry to be forced to be digitized. And it was the biggest boom for his business, and it started taking off, and then you have to keep innovating, and he's crushing it.
You should keep fucking?
Keep fucking.
Keep trucking?
You know the fascinating part about his industry? So he has to deal with the trucking industry. Shoaib is a Pakistani guy with long wavy
ponytail,
brown hair with a ponytail.
Yeah, how's that go over?
Yeah.
He's a charming guy, so I guess
he's charming.
I guess it works. That's what I give him credit too for just finding an opportunity. You know what I mean? Not I came up in the trucking industry and then I realized there was
my dad was a truck driver.
Yeah, that's cool too. I love those stories. But to really just be able to dig in there and find an opportunity, and obviously some things fall your way and bam.
That's the beauty of it, is that there are things like this out there. You just have to be willing to put the work in and understand it.
But when do I play Roblox though? Is that before?
Before, yeah.
Preferably, or? You
got to play Roblox from 5 to 7 in the morning.
Got it. Okay.
And then you start AI truck businesses after that.
Got it. Okay. Okay, this is a fun one. Can I announce yet our DM we got?
Which DM? Oh yeah, let's announce it.
Can.
I mean, sometimes I forget. Sometimes I got to be honest. I talk on here like we're just chatting and
shitting on people.
Yeah, and I really pretend like our friends are really the only listeners, right? Because that's mainly who I hear from. But sometimes these things happen where you realize that the audience is a little bit bigger than you thought and a little bit more obscure. One day we had a live event. Do you remember this? And one of our live events at Peppermint, and a guy came up to us and was like, "Yo, man, I work at blah blah blah," and it was a company that we had kind of shit on a little bit. And we were like, "Oh, that's so cool. We talked about you." And he's like, "I know. That's how I heard about the podcast because they put it in the company Slack. Yo, this podcast talked about us." And I was like, "Oh, shit." So
we're about to announce a nationwide tour.
Yes. One of the topics we talked about, they reached out.
Yes.
Can anyone guess who it was?
I'll give you a second.
Dee, who do we get a DM from that wants to connect?
Okay. Hopefully this doesn't shut the countdown on YouTube.
Yep.
Woo!
Hey, listen in the group chat.
Margaritaville
Reached out.
Yes.
We're about to get wasted.
I mean, imagine if we could do a nationwide margarita.
I need a 5-footer.
With a 5-footer next to us.
Yeah.
And just
that's our rider.
Yep.
We need 10
5-footers.
feet for every podcast.
We need 10 feet per pod. They reached out. They want to talk.
Yeah.
So
Big business.
I mean, we know how
Big
business is doing, guys. So
I mean, they're making
you're not gonna be able to
billions.
By the way,
short
I got a DM from someone. I think he's in, I don't know what industry he's in, maybe in finance, private equity. And he goes, Margaritaville hotels print money.
Oh my gosh. Listen, countrywide tour. All we need
I'm
is
in.
10 feet of margarita
Yeah.
and
A bag.
a bag.
Yeah.
We know you got bags.
We know you got bags.
We know secrets out, man. So good
I'll
for
bring
us.
my AR-15 to dinner.
Why not?
Yeah.
You got
Should
a
we
red
just
hat?
bring an AR-15 and 9mm, put it on the table, and start recording?
If you're in Texas, it's now legal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you never know where you have listeners. I wonder who this was. Like, is this like you think this is an employee that's like working on a side hustle but waiting tables at Margaritaville in the meantime?
I bet you someone's in corporate.
office? Wow.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. We got to do something with them. I'm a big, by the way, 2 tequilas in, margarita guy.
It's Margaritaville every day in here, especially Sundays.
It's 5 p.m. Always.
here. Okay, so there we go. But the reason why I brought that up is because we love these things where we have like the happiest city in the country, the saddest, the blah, blah, blah. We have the cities where chain restaurants dominate.
Yeah.
I know that either TGI Fridays or Olive Garden has to be getting Ohio's numbers up because the amount of birthdays I spent there cannot be taken lightly.
They're opening an Olive Garden right next to my house, and I'm so excited about
Where?
What area?
right, and I'm at Washington and La Brea.
Really?
There's an Olive Garden going there?
Because the only one around here is like Deep Burbank.
There was one in Westwood that went out
something.
of business years ago.
Yeah, there's one like Deep, I think Burbank or like over the hill that way. And I think I tried to go there once and it didn't work. But I spent a lot of time at Olive Garden as a youth.
So Bloomberg did a whole study on kind of average percentage chain in a metropolitan area.
Okay.
The heavy areas are like suburbs of Georgia, suburbs of North Carolina, suburbs of Ohio, suburb of Texas, Oklahoma.
Mhm.
These are the areas that are very indexed towards chain restaurants.
Yep.
Coastal elites don't like chains.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I hate to stereotype, but I could have told you that.
Yeah. And so like
But I think that's changed. That's a last 15, 16-year change. Because I remember graduating college and all my friends earned well and our multiple 21st birthdays were at like CPK and stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause-
CPK's still like popping here.
is it?
meaning,
Where? There's no
meaning
CPK.
like
One on
when,
Ventura Boulevard.
when I was 21, so that's now 17 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think these restaurants existed the way they do in scale.
Yeah. I
Like
do
if
think
you
you're
were
right.
like,
No, but what's the chain? So we all live in Hollywood, West Hollywood.
I
Beverly
did
Hills.
a friend's 21st birthday when we were all in finance earning a lot of money. and
Where?
we went to the CPK in Hollywood Highland.
That doesn't exist.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I'm saying these restaurants all came about post.
He's saying it's recent.
It's
saying
recent.
back
No,
in-
what chain is around us? There isn't.
No,
they don't
no.
exist
He's
anymore.
saying the opposite. He's saying that
Oh,
up until about 10 years ago,
they were around.
they were around even here. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But now, it
it's
seems
over.
relatively recent that they're no longer popular here at all.
Well, I think if you take a metropolitan city like LA or New York, if health has anything to do with it, or kind of what draws people to a restaurant, whether it be social media or like an interesting story, chains don't have that.
We'll tell that to the Margaritaville that just went in Times Square. The $350 million.
There's a reason why Margaritaville is in Times Square. They know their audience.
Yeah.
They're not opening in meatpacking.
That's true. Times Square is literally like the rest of the U.S. crammed into like a few blocks of New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
mean,
well, I get it. I can't really explain why.
I think there's gonna be a resurgence in chains.
I bet this is why, though.
No way.
But this is why, right?
Go ahead.
If you have a creative new restaurant, you're more likely to be coastal.
Yeah.
Right? Like for whatever reason, the coast draw those people. And so you just have too much there's too much competition. Whereas like, there's not exactly like hot new one-off restaurants opening up in Akron, Ohio, left and right.
So I think what's gonna
You know what I mean?
I
Does that
think
make
what's
sense?
gonna
Does that check
change.
out?
I think what's gonna change now because real estate prices and leases are so expensive
Mm-hmm.
that all these independent restaurant concepts that come and go so quickly now.
Yeah.
They'll go with the outskirts.
Meaning like if there was a Cheesecake Factory on 3rd,
Mm-hmm.
it would be on fire.
Yeah.
100%.
Isn't there still Cheesecake Factory at the Grove?
There is, and it's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my point is like, the only way to even exist here is to have a guaranteed audience. You're not gonna be able to experiment with like, oh, the cool new chef.
Well, that's
that
what happened
comes
in downtown LA. Downtown LA rent was cheap enough.
Yeah.
And you got Bestia. You got
Yeah.
all these. Bestia was like the first restaurant that kind of.
And in our area, it's changing. Like, we already know. Like, I can tell you a few new restaurants that just came up. They'll be out of business within 6
Name
months.
them all so we can just crush their entrepreneurs' dreams.
Crush their dreams, and we'll circle back in January.
Yeah. You can. Yeah. I mean,
Call them out by
Madera
name.
is the only one that's going to make it.
Turkey is fine. They're slammed.
Yeah. Jones on 3rd.
Slammed.
Toast.
Yep. Everyone else on
Like,
3rd.
those don't really exist, especially not where I'm from, but
Yeah. But it's interesting. I think that'll change. I think there'll be a entrepreneur in Akron or a chef that brings an interesting concept.
yeah.
But it's like the Henry on Robertson. It's not a chain, but there's multiple Henrys in different states.
There's more Henrys.
Yeah.
Where's the other Henry's?
There's definitely one in Arizona. And I think a few other locations. And
Arizona's a big state.
A lot of Henrys. Live in Arizona. Okay, let's finish it off with a question. We're talking about margaritas. We're talking about drinking. But one question is why, if drinking is so bad on our bodies, do we do it so often and we have so much overtime? Like, have we evolved to, is it a stress reducer? Is that the reason why? Why are people just dying to grab that 3-footer and take a load off?
So someone's doing a study on like the first farmers.
Like ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there apparently there are sites in eastern Turkey dating to like 12,000 years ago that combined with images of festivals and dancing suggest that people were gathering in groups, fermenting grain or grapes, playing music, and getting truly hammered before humanity had figured out agriculture.
Oh, yeah.
So the actual motivation for farming was to get drunk.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Makes sense, though. Sort of like how like the internet was, the way was paved by porn.
Literally, if there wasn't porn, internet would
High-speed internet probably wouldn't exist.
No. People wanted to jerk off so badly, they needed the fastest connection possible.
So you're saying
like
here people
56, what was it? Mbps
megabytes,
or whatever
not
it was?
cutting it.
That's not, no.
Megabytes per second. So instead, you're saying these old farmers were like, we want to get wasted so bad. Let's find new ways to do it. Oops, we learned how to make other things.
Yeah, and I think the most simple level of alcohol is, if you think about what an alcohol does, go to a party.
Okay.
You show up, you're all dressed up.
Dressed up.
You see all your friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's no alcohol.
No alcohol.
We know what Anand's doing. He's leaving.
Leaving. Because Anand's had a couple cabs, or a couple of either cabs or vodka sodas before he showed up.
Yeah.
Those are starting to wear off now.
Yeah. I mean, just think about it from the most primitive standpoint. You go to a party and there's no alcohol.
Yep.
That sucks.
That's not a party.
And even if you're not the one drinking, let's say you choose not to drink that night or you're sober, you want everyone else drinking.
Yeah.
It's more fun.
Yeah. But are you saying that simple fact alone, because it is so bad for us?
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Have you had a drink before, Jason?
Oh, come on.
But isn't that, are you even old enough to drink, Jason?
Tuesday.
Oh yeah, by the way, this is a good story. I'm going to
Jason got
sidebar.
Yeah, I think this story's done. We know drinking's bad, but people like it.
But look, that's the whole question of this whole thing, right? Is this guy's studying all this stuff. He's saying why have we evolved to love drinking so much if it's continually so bad for us?
Because it makes people have fun.
End of the article. Thank you. Thanks for writing. I agree. What about Jason? He
You
got
should
wasted?
see the end of this article, by the way. I want to read this because it's so insane.
Yep.
Chemical intoxication is clearly dangerous. Alcohol has ruined many lives and continues to ravage individuals and communities across the globe. What's more, the relatively recent innovation of distillation allows us to bypass natural limits on alcohol content to produce incredibly potent spirits. Combined with increasing social isolation, this may make drinking more dangerous than in the past, in ways that we only dimly appreciate. It's all the more reason to understand the evolutionary rationale behind our drive to get drunk.
I feel like I need a White Claw.
Yeah, I got to be honest. That's one of those articles that makes you want to drink.
Yeah.
Just to spite that guy.
Definitely spite that guy. We're going to
That
end
was one
with
of those writers in India, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why Americans drink so much?
Thanks, Gita.
So Jason got wasted.
Okay, so-
I didn't get wasted, no.
This is a great story.
Jason went to Bootsy?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jason comes to me and goes, "Hey, I see Bootsy Bellows is opening tonight."
Let me just point out, this is why you want a job here, because you're talking about...
What's your word?
Propinquity.
Propinquity.
You're saying all in his...
This guy,
Don't work from home.
propinquitous week. He got all of information out of you for lunch, which you paid for, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And then got access to Bootsy for what, like opening night? Opening week?
so Bootsy,
Reopening night.
opening night, they're finally letting people come in without a table, dance, all this stuff. we're talking. He's like, hey, I see Bootsy Bellas open. I was like, all right, let me text Brian. You'll be good.
Yeah.
I was like, you go by yourself. You don't need to bring 6 of your homies from, the frat or whatever.
The boys. Jason and the boys.
Just go by yourself, hang out.
Yeah.
So I text Brian. He takes care of him. He says he's good.
No, he actually had some.
Wait. I'm going to bring all that story up. Brian, you fucked him. Anyways, I was like, I'm not going to be awake. So just, screenshot this text, whatever. Like, tell whoever's in the door. Yeah, figure it out. He was telling me before, he's like, I'm just going to wait in line. And I'm like, it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You can wait in line for 2 days.
Yeah.
And if they don't know you or
yeah.
you don't have,
Yeah.
I don't want to be canceled, but if you don't have hot girls with you, they ain't let your ass in.
You didn't make the rules.
Yeah. I didn't make the rules. That's what the rules are.
Yeah.
So he pulls up. I see him the next day.
Okay.
And I told him, the one thing I told him was, if you drink, you cannot fucking drive.
Yep.
You could sleep in the office.
Yep.
We have a big ass office, plenty of place to sleep. I had to be in the office at like 9, so I pull up. He's wearing a full-on like sweatsuit from some project we did.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this guy slept in the office. I walk in, I'm like, how is Bootsy Bellas?
Yeah.
Jason, take it from here.
Tell us, Jason.
I'm taking the story from here. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell us, Jason.
I pulled up to Bootsy around 11:15. I didn't want to get the ride at 11 because
Nice and early.
whatever.
Oh, because I asked Brian, I'm like, what time should this guy show up? He goes,
10.
it doesn't open till 11.
Got it.
That's new. They used to be 10.
Yeah.
So 11:15 is when you showed up.
11:15 I show
That was
up.
safe
Yeah,
bet.
safe bet.
So was it crowded outside or not?
It was pretty crowded. Like you could definitely tell where Bootsy was on the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I pull up. I walk up to the lady. I'm like, hey, like my name might be on a list. I don't know where to go. She's like, oh, go talk to the promoter. That guy over there with the sweater on. I go up to one of the promoter people there and I say, hey, my name's on this list.
Friends
I know-
with Brian.
I'm friends with Dee, friends with Brian. Brian's list. I might be on there. Goes through the list once. I'm not on there. I ask him if he can check my last name. Goes through it again. I'm not on there. Kind of just hang out 15 minutes. I'm like, hey, my name's spelled kind of weird actually. Do you mind checking again a third time?
It's actually new guy.
Yeah.
At new guy.
Yeah.
He goes through. I'm not on there. So I stay there until like 11:45, 30 minutes. I'm kind of just outside, kind of like waiting to see what happens. And then I hear someone say, all right, don't let anybody else in. We're good for the night. Like we're closing the doors or something. I'm like, I'm not leaving. I've been here 30 minutes. I'm going to get in.
Yeah, it's good.
So I go up to the guy that said that and I'm like, hey, like I'm Dee's intern. I'm supposed to be on the list. I'm showing him the text messages, all this stuff. He's not having it. And then like 10 more seconds of that. And he goes, are you alone? I'm like, yes. He's like, all right, come in. Just lets me in. Takes off the rope. I'm like, thank God I got in. Walk in.
Damn, Brian kind of screwed him, huh?
Yeah. and what I tell him to look for Brian, but I don't think Brian was outside that night.
Yeah.
So then I walk in, I go up to the bar. I order a drink. I asked for an AMF. They didn't have that. So I just got whatever. The bartender was like, I'll get you something. I was like, all right, cool. One drink and a shot of tequila.
What'd you order?
I said AMF. And then he just gave me like a mix.
What is
You
AMF?
obvious motherfucker?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
No
my
way.
God.
That's my go-to.
You're
What's your go-to?
What's in an AMF?
just
I don't know.
toilet water and rubbing alcohol.
I'll tell you-
Whatever alcohol we
I
can
had
have.
it I had those on my 21st birthday and I got carried out of the club.
Yeah.
It's like rum, vodka. It's like
No.
4 different liquors.
Yeah, no, it's
They don't-
insane.
Yeah.
It's like rum, vodka,
You need
tequila.
to-
It's blue.
You're-
That's all I know. It's blue.
Yeah,
You gotta
it's
work on
like
your
brown.
palate,
You know what
bro.
It's like
You
dark
That's
blue.
Clorox.
Oh my God.
Clorox
Windex.
they put in it.
It looks like Windex.
Yeah. Oh my God. It cures COVID. I know.
Yeah, we gotta teach you how to drink.
Oh my God.
Don't ever order that drink around me.
Yeah.
I will throw
Think
you
about
out
that. This
myself.
guy's representing you out in the world.
Yeah,
And
AMF. Oh my God, you fucking clown.
I'm sorry.
Oh my
sorry.
God.
Okay,
All right, we'll work on your order.
Continue.
Yeah, so I just get the drink.
You might be AMF after this.
yeah. I take the shot and I just kind of carry the drink around. Talk to these 2 guys by the bar. They're like late 20s, early 30s. Like, oh yeah, we're new here. What are you? What's your deal? Talk to them a little bit. I'm like, all right, I want to go dance. So I make my way towards like the dance
I
floor.
like that. Why not
Nice.
dance?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like people are kind of just standing around. Nobody's really doing anything.
Jam packed, no mask.
No mask. Yeah, jam packed, no mask.
Nice.
I see some kids like doing a little bit of mosh pitting, jumping up and down.
Nice.
So I'm like, I'm gonna go over there. It looks fun. Go over there, talk to them. Maybe like hang out for 20 minutes on the dance floor, just meeting people, talking to people, saying, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And one of the guys I'm talking to, he goes, hey, I know the DJ. You want to come back over there? I'm like, sure. So we walk over. I get into like the VIP section behind the DJ.
Yeah.
And then I just never left. And I was there the entire night, hung out with the DJ, made friends with him, and then he invited me back next week. And then just pretty much hung out until the club closed. then club closed. I walk outside.
It's nice to know, by the way, that like just a dude, just a polite
Nice guy.
dude can like have a good time.
It's being
Meet
solo.
some friends.
Yeah, it's solo
Solo's
and he's
so key.
and-
When I picture that night, though, I picture like everyone's just kind of like, "Yo, bro, who you?" Like,
yeah, but I'll give Jason credit. He's like fine to hang out with.
yeah.
And he's willing to talk to people in this socially awkward world when there's someone normal to talk to.
Yeah. I just don't picture guys
wins.
doing well at clubs alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue on. This gets better.
Oh,
Continue.
It's way better.
Oh, yeah. So then I walk outside the club. Or first, I'm there in the club, like actually inside, and the lights are on. It's just me, the DJ, and some other guy that I met named, doesn't matter what his name is.
Yep. Like, hey, you want to go to Leo's house?
Yeah.
But no, so we're just hanging out, and then we walk
He
outside.
doesn't know who that is.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh,
Too old.
sorry.
Yep.
Walk outside eventually, and I see all the Ubers lined up. Everybody's kind of standing around, waiting to leave the club. And I'm like, I can go back to the office right now and sleep, or I can kind of just hang out here for 2 minutes, see what happens.
Yeah.
So I hang out. This guy comes up to me. He's a rapper, and he introduces himself. He's like, "Hey, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm an intern for this company." I mentioned Young and Reckless. And he's like, "Oh yeah, drama, all this
sure.
stuff."
Sure.
And then
Maybe it's Drama's friend.
maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And we kind of just talk for another 10 minutes outside. And then the friend that he was with is like, "Hey, I just met these two guys from USC. We're going to go to this house in Beverly Hills. You want to come?"
I noticed everyone's guys. It's just a bunch of guys.
Well, one of the...
Or they're like, hey, like there's a bunch of girls. we're all
No,
gonna go to
it
this
was
thing.
mainly, for the most part, it was like 80% girls, 20% guys
Okay,
in
got
the
it.
club.
And
yeah.
you were part of the 20% guys.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
But it just seems like a lot of male camaraderie here. I like. Okay, keep
Yeah,
going.
Yeah. And then, so then they're like, all right,
like a
take
sports
this,
team.
let's take this
Yeah.
Uber. So then we get in the Uber, go to this Beverly Hills house. It's kind of like smaller. It's like 15, 20 people there.
Yeah.
Just
How
kind of hanging
big's the
out.
house?
It's not huge, but it's like a nice, it's a nice house. It's
Which part of Beverly Hills? Give me some streets.
I couldn't tell you.
You don't have your Uber? You can't tell us the address?
I didn't take the Uber. Somebody
Next
else
time,
called the
take
Uber.
pictures of streets.
Okay.
Give us an
Yeah.
address.
Yeah.
Like you're being kidnapped. I'm on Sunset now, going west,
I'm now on Crescent Drive, south of
moving
Wilshire.
south.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hung out of that house until maybe 4 a.m. So
Wow.
maybe 2 hours there. And then
And like, what were you guys doing? Just chatting?
just chatting, hanging out, telling stories, meeting people.
What stories are you telling? Are you
Whatever.
doing drugs?
No, I'm not doing
Wait,
drugs.
so you're in Beverly Hills, so you're clearly at someone's either parents' house?
I think it was someone's parents' house because, the vibe I was getting was like parents' house.
Like
That's
it
what
wasn't
felt
like a TikToker.
No, it was like somebody who like lives here and has lived here for many years probably.
Got it.
I feel like.
So mellow.
Yeah, mellow. It
Maybe
was
you guys
like
broke
anything
into
crazy.
a house with the family.
Do they have drinks
Seems likely.
out? Do
They had a bar like in the house, like a little mini bar,
Wow.
and they were offering drinks. I didn't take any. And then from there, 5 of us or 2 of the people, one guy and one girl, were like, "Hey, we're gonna go back to USC. It's late, whatever. You guys are welcome to come back and hang out with us for a little bit, and then just
Were they
do whatever."
students?
Students, yeah. So me, the rapper, and his friend go with these 2 people back to USC. So I'm in the dorms.
Me,
at
the
4
rapper,
a.m.
and
You went all the way to
kids.
USC?
Yeah, they just
From
called an Uber.
Beverly
They're like, "All right, yeah, we'll call it." So they called the Uber XL.
Wow.
And
Following.
from Beverly Hills to USC, hung out there, and then it was kind of a weird sight. It was this really skinny, like 5'5" white kid
Yeah.
rapping with like this rapper who's much older than him and much bigger. It was just this they're just freestyling, having a good time, and I was just there, watching. And
This is like an apartment like on campus?
a
or
dorm,
off-
yeah, like a dorm room, and I was just kind of like adding ad libs and stuff, and they just like had a beat going.
He
They
was
were
the
just
hype
they were just
man.
freestyling.
He was
Yeah.
in 8
The
Mile.
little job.
Yeah. So I was just there until about 5:15, around that time. And then I was like, all right, like I'm gonna head back. It's really late. So I called an Uber back, came here, changed, and then crashed on that couch.
Did
right
you
over
fall
there.
asleep before the sun was coming up?
No, it was already up.
And you fell asleep right here?
Do you
on that
close
couch,
the
yeah.
curtains?
It's a great
No, just 6 a.m. I was tired, just napped. And
You know what the best part is? Gian texted him at 6 in the morning. Is that you, or are we getting robbed?
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like,
Oh,
no.
you saw him on the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you don't do drugs?
No.
That was all alcohol?
I had
Howard?
the one alcohol in the beginning. Oh, well, I had a cold brew before I left the office. Because I wanted
So
some
you had
energy.
one
So
drink
he
the whole
told me he
night?
had a cold brew,
Yeah.
a wannabe AMF, so it turned into something else, and a shot.
Yeah, that's
And
all
that's
I had.
it. And he was done drinking by 11:45,
Or about,
And he's
by
sti-
midnight-ish.
midnight,
Yeah.
sure. And was able to go through all these events. That's what I asked. I was like, how are you doing
I would
this?
have to be blackout drunk to be at 5 a.m. at a USC dorm
Rapping.
20 years ago.
20 years ago. I was going to
Yeah.
say, what time frame?
No, 20 years ago for me to end up in that situation.
But I guess that's
It was my first time
Jason,
going out.
minus the
Like
alcohol.
I turned 21 in quarantine, so it was like for me, it was just like this.
What
that
a first? That's your first nightclub is Bootsy's.
That's my first real nightclub. Yeah.
That's
Oh my
insane. That's a
gosh.
good first nightclub.
yeah.
It's only gonna go downhill from here.
Oh my gosh.
Wait
Maybe
till you
not.
end up. At
Maybe
the,
not. He's friends with the DJ now.
Yeah,
True.
you don't want to end up at your, Costa Mesa nightclub. You need to stay.
I'm never going back to town nightclub.
He'll be at fucking Bryce Hall's house next weekend.
Yeah.
Because now, I dropped Leo, but I'm guessing that probably means nothing now in clubs. Like, are kids ending up at like the Phase house? Like, where do you go for the
Yeah.
after?
Right. I think you're right.
Huh.
We
Well,
dated
shit,
ourselves
man.
with the Leo name.
We
Yeah.
really did. Because I wasn't even trying to be. I just rifled it off.
What Leo?
Leonardo
DiCaprio?
Are we talking about the Leo?
Yeah.
Okay, at least you know who he is.
Yeah.
Of course.
Like that used to be like if if after party, I would say top tier Leo's house, right?
Damn.
And I'm guessing the current version of that is probably like the Face Clan house.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something along those lines.
Because
Yeah.
people were like, let's go to Leo's house. They'd be like, let's hang out with Grandpa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's up with FaZe Banks?
Yeah. What's up with Phase Adapt
Face Temper was there. I saw him.
at the club?
Yeah, I threw him a little phase up and he threw it back.
God, I
told me
love
that.
Don't
it.
ever do that again, please.
Imagine like, yo, can I
Don't
get
wear
an
armbands
AM?
and throw that.
Imagine him saying, I'm with Dee Murthy, and then, yeah, I'll take
Face
an
up,
AM.
motherfucker.
Face up, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm with Young and Reckless.
And that's
Oh
the
my
end of
God.
our relationship with
Holy
them.
cow. All right. Well,
So only advice is don't order an adios motherfucker.
yeah, we just got to work on the
And
palate.
don't give the face.
Don't ever throw any hand gesture.
Yeah.
You don't do those two things, I think your night was a success.
He
we're
smiled
okay.
back. He was really nice about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
but just trust me. Don't ever do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, that's why I love this city.
Yeah. Because his life just changed.
Yeah.
He's going to go hang out with the
So I'll tell you a
DJ.
perfect example. I saw this morning the coach of the New York Knicks, Coach Tibbs.
Yeah.
I could have easily been like, who's going to win the game today?
But you
Like-
saw him like in person?
Yeah, I saw him in person in LA. And I was just like, cool to see him. I walk away.
You said, face up. Yo, Knicks.
Yeah.
You just don't do it.
Well, no, I mean, I was next to him in the club. Like his table was like right there. I knew
He
not
saw
to. I knew
Taylor
not to bother
Holder
him.
at the club too.
Yeah, Taylor was there.
So that's the new.
At Bootsy?
Yeah, but like I knew not to like disturb them or anything like that. I just saw him. It was outside when I was waiting.
I
Actually,
said you should
And
have
just-
gone to Taylor Holder and say, "You little bitch."
Say, hey, little bitch, come on group chat.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, I told D he looks mean in person. Like he looks built. Like he
Whoa.
Was,
mean.
Like,
He was
looks-
scared of him.
yeah. I
Well-
wouldn't mess with him.
Phase up.
Well, hopefully he'll come on, but I asked him to come talk about the fight, and maybe it was a touchy subject.
Did he respond?
He wants to go skateboard. Not
Why don't
worried
you
about
say,
it.
"Do you want to go skateboarding? You got to come on the pod."
Let's change. Let's exchange. Okay.
Tit for tat.
Well, there we go. There's LA for you, and I have a feeling that things are looking good for you. And look, if you can make that many friends and do that well on your first night at the club, I think you're going to do well here.
I think you're inspired from the Bia Fetty Wap story.
I did 100%.
Really, if I were you, I would just study that podcast.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I drew inspiration from that. Like that podcast, because that's how I originally found out even about group chat. Like that
Yeah.
podcast like changed my life. That one episode.
You found out about group chat from that episode?
That's what it was on my YouTube recommended. Clicked it, never looked back.
Wow.
I would say that night of yours sounds like it was inspired by Zach Bia. And if you take that as your roadmap, you might do really well here.
Yeah.
And Anand might be wrong. You might, actually, you know what? Zach Bia would never throw up the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were right.
You need to have a bracelet. What would Zach be?
No, but it's good. You got this is your mulligan. This is your mulligan. You're a golf guy.
Yeah. And it went well.
It's fine.
Totally
Throw it
fine.
away. You survived to live another night. Go
Yeah,
back.
you only
next
had 2
Tuesday.
strikes.
Unless I got a text from Brian after listening to the podcast. Yo,
This
tell your
guy
boy with
puked
the
on our-
gang signs. He's
Yeah.
not welcome back in.
Throwing up the blood sign and puked in our corner. We just don't find out.
Now we're going to get the real story.
Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff, man. Congratulations. I can't believe that was your first night. I remember my first club night in LA, and it was the start of a great life here. So I met Paul Wall. So you met FaZe Temper. I met my hero. It worked out.
Worked out. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep. All right. Well, there you have it.
Yep. Do you have any shout outs?
No shout outs today.
Okay, great.
Unfortunately.
We good?
We are good.
That's it. Everyone have a great rest of your Sunday if you're listening on Sunday. If not, have an incredible week. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Yep.
Bye-bye.